Hey everyone, Kim Levinsky here. Today is Thursday, August 11th, 2022, and I'm coming to you with the start of a brand new mini vlog series. It's going to be documenting the journey to the Big Sky 350 Mighty Gallatin that is taking place the first week of September. I haven't really been chatting about it a lot. I think that the last 2 months, it's hard to believe that it's been 2 months since Tahoe ended. I've kind of just been still thinking about Tahoe a lot. But over the last 3 to 4 weeks, I've been transitioning to this next run venture that is around the corner in September. It's been very helpful to talk with other Tahoe 200 runners that were there in June, and then also with runners who have done the event in years past, and to just hear from them that we have a lot of overlapping experiences from the event, and hearing that it takes a long time to kind of process what went down over those 96 hours. So I've come to accept that, and I've now been calling Tahoe the gift that keeps on giving, because it seems like almost every day there's something new that pops up that comes into my mind of like, wow, that happened, or what do I think about this, or how's that impacting me now? So that's been really cool. But yeah, I mean, like, to recap, about 3 to 4 weeks after Tahoe is really dialing it back. And shout out to PT Chris Smith with Run Forever Academy, and Dina Griffin, sport dietitian with Nutrition Mechanic. Those two kind of tag team me a little bit. I don't think they knew it, but they were feeding me the same message of how important recovery was. And I'm really thankful that they were preaching that at me, because now I feel really good. My body feels good. The last 3 to 4 weeks, I've been getting after it again with training, back in the weight room, lifting heavy, and it's been fun because I feel good and I love all of that stuff. So, transitioning to this next run venture that's coming up. It's the first week of September. Again, it's called the Mighty Gallatin Big Sky 350. And yes, the 350 stands for miles. It is such a cool event. I'm really excited to be sharing it with you guys on what is going to be happening. So, I have been describing it as a fat ass supported stage run venture. So, to unpack all that, first of all, the story behind it. The Mighty Gallatin is the brainchild of ultra runner Helgi Olafsson. And if you don't know who he is, just pause the video right now and go Google his name. You're probably going to see the first few hits that come up are articles chronicling what he did last year with the Triple Crown. So not only did Helgi complete the Triple Crown, he also traveled to each event either by foot or on bike. So like literally thousands of miles were completed by him as a part of that Triple Crown journey. So anyway, he's got an incredible story. He's just a really, really cool individual. He's also a huge advocate for AS, and he has spent the last couple decades not only raising funds, but also raising awareness and advocating for individuals with AS. And he's raised just a ton of money, not only for them, but other organizations in health and fitness, and organizations that are helping individuals overcome either disabilities or health issues. So Helgi is just a really, really cool guy. I'm so glad that I connected with him. So anyway, he has created this thing. It's called the Mighty Gallatin 350. And basically, it's a group of 17 runners who are coming together along with a rock star crew. And he has created this course that is about 350 miles long. And there's basically two camps of the runners. There's those who are going to be completing the 350 miles solo. So all of the miles they're going to attempt to do on their own. And then there's those of us who are doing a relay style. So I'm on a relay team with my friend Dina. I'm going to be chatting about that in a little bit. And then we're going to work together to reach the 350 miles. So I'm really excited to dive in to give you some background on this event and tell you what is coming up around the corner in a couple weeks here. So some stats on the course for the Big Sky 350. Over the 350 miles, there is a lot of climbing. What Helgi has calculated in the CalTopo and Gaia apps are approximately, I'm going to look at my cheat sheet here, 81,651 feet of gain, and 83,718 feet of loss to total 165,369 feet of elevation change, which is a lot. In terms of altitude, the course is definitely a little bit higher than what Tahoe 200 was. Many of the days start at around 6,500 feet, but then you're climbing up. So consistently, the course is around 9,000 feet. A couple times it hits a little over 10,000. And there are some monster climbs. There are some several thousand-foot climbs that take place during the event, which is, it's kind of, I'm feeling that mix of like, wow, that's scary, and wow, that's awesome at the same time, which I think is a good place to be in, to have a little bit of fear but excitement at the same time. So the course out in Montana, it's rugged, it's remote, and it's definitely backcountry. So with this event, there is an extensive list of required gear, and one of those items includes bear spray, because this is bear country. So, I mean, hopefully we don't have any interactions with bears, but we will be prepared if that does happen. So to bring in that element of the stage race format, the course is mapped out so that there's a set mileage and course each day. So we're looking at it as there's day 1, day 2, all the way up to day 7. And the mileage ranges anywhere from, the first day is the biggest, it's around 60 miles or so, it's almost 100K. And then I think the shortest is around 40 some miles. So it's a lot, but the idea is that each night we're going to be getting some sleep. We want to be off the trails not too long after dark hits, and each night we're going to be staying at a campground. So there's a couple nights where we're staying at the same one, but the rest of the time we are traversing to other campgrounds. So that is also what's really cool about this event, is that as runners, we are not bringing any pacers or crew. The crew is basically like a dream team list of volunteer runners who are coming out to crew, and that also includes the medical staff from Destination Trail, which is pretty neat. So that is really cool, knowing we're going to be in great hands. The individuals who are on that roster are, I know many of them are fantastic individuals. So they're going to be following us around. They're going to be meeting us at each of these checkpoints. So each day is broken up into legs. So the legs can range anywhere from like 4 miles up to almost 30. And so this is similar to the 200-mile race format in that it's mandatory to have your phone with the downloaded maps on there using the Gaia or CalTopo apps. And then the big difference is there's no course markings whatsoever for the 350. So you got to know how to use your navigation skills, and you got to have the maps on there. So that is going to be pretty neat. I really, really love that style of run venture where, you know, you've got the course, you're using the map, you're following it, and it's self-supported in the sense that we're going to be out there for a long time in between legs, but also very cool that it's supported where the crew is going, the roaming crew is going to be meeting us at these checkpoints, and they're also going to be cooking some food to order, which would be, it's going to be really nice, I think, to have some hot food, cooked up at these aid stations. So I actually think we're going to be a little bit spoiled. Todd and Tanya are coming out, and they are chef extraordinaires. I experienced some of their cooking when I volunteered at Bigfoot 200 last summer, and I think we are going to be in very good hands in terms of the aid station and the meals in the evenings and mornings. So again, Helgi's just compiled a rock star crew to come out, and I'm very, very excited too about just meeting all these other runners. I've met some of them, but not everybody. I think that's going to be a really, really cool part of this experience. Obviously, the whole on-trail experience is going to be great, but I am really looking forward to that community aspect of it. And I know that's a big goal that Helgi has for the event, is that it really is going to drive that community, and some cool friendships are going to be made along the way, and just great opportunities, I think, in the future for all of us who are going to connect through this event in Montana. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to be relaying the 350 with Dina Griffin. And if you've watched any of the vlogs before, you watched the recap of Tahoe 200, you know that Dina was there with me. She was on the crew and pace team, and she is a sport dietitian by trade. That's how we met over a year ago. She's the nutrition mechanic. Check it out, nutritionmechanic.com. But when the opportunity came up for me to join the 350 and Helgi asked if I wanted to do it solo or relay, I jumped at the opportunity for relay and then asked Dina if she wanted to come along. And she didn't hesitate too much, which is also why she's just the best. So I'm excited for what's ahead, that we're going to share a lot of miles together. And actually, technically on paper, I am teammates with Jess Green, and Dina is teammates with Sam. So that means that Dina and I will be able to run together, and Jess and Sam will be able to run together. They are actually about to start Bigfoot 200 in like less than 24 hours right now. So they are doing that together. They train a ton together. They're out in Colorado. So they're doing Bigfoot, and then they're pretty much turning around and going out to Montana. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun between the four of us with the relay teams that we have lined up. So that is going to be really, really cool. But another cool thing I want to mention is that there is a film crew coming out, and it's going to be turned into a documentary, which is pretty neat. One of the big visions that Helgi has for this event is that we are able to share it with people who want to get involved. So there's going to be opportunity for us to be sharing on social media. Might not be necessarily through our own channels because the service is spotty, but there is an Instagram page for the Big Sky 350, and that's going to be kept up to date throughout the event. There's also live tracking, so that's another piece of mandatory gear, is that each of us have to have a tracker with us. So there are personal devices, so I'm going to be using my Garmin InReach, and I'll share the information on that with the live tracking, but it's going to be updated online by LiveTrack. Those are the same organization that does a lot of these longer events, you know, like Cocodona and Tahoe, Bigfoot, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool that I think, you know, people are going to be able to follow along, similar to what they did in the 200 miler. So I guess before we sign out, I do want to make sure that I've covered the topic of why. I think I've mentioned a few of the reasons here throughout the video, but I think really to nail it down, the opportunity was something that I couldn't pass up. And I know that a lot of the other runners who have signed up, the crew have signed up, they would say the same thing, that the opportunity came along and it was something that we just couldn't say no to. And maybe it's the way our brains are wired, or what's inside our, you know, the guts or whatnot. But yeah, you know, I heard about the opportunity and I read through the Google Doc that Helgi put together, learned about some of the people that were going to be going out there. You know, I touched on that before. That is such a big part of why I'm excited about this experience, is just getting plugged in to this community even more, and forming some new friendships, strengthening old ones, and, you know, getting out to the backcountry of Montana. I've never been to that part of the country. I'm very excited about that. And I think at the end of the day too, one of my strongest reasons would be that it's good to do hard things. And I think that's something I'm going to probably be chasing after most of my life, is, you know, and I found this avenue to do it through trail and ultra running, and now this, I guess, ultra running. But man, it just presents so many opportunities, I think, to grow as a person, to grow as a community with the people that you're with. And I think, I mean, just looking back at Tahoe 200, and I know that many runners who have done, I mean, really any length of ultra marathon, but especially these longer ones, they would agree, because I've talked to people about this, that, you know, the highs of the race, the highs of the whole journey of training, those are amazing moments, right? Like the mountaintop views, you know, the memories that you share with your crew and pacers and friends along the way is really awesome. But then there's also There is the draw to those low moments, because I think that for me, I know many other people, because we've talked about this, would say that those challenging times during the race, the hard moments of training, that's the stuff that, your guts are made out of, right? And I think that in some way, whether we are able to verbalize it or not, we're chasing after those moments. And I think just through conversations of talking about life and running, that's something that I've now been able to verbalize, is that is a part of the equation, is that, like, yeah, you're chasing after those highs, but also the lows, because I think for many other people as well, we would say that those are the really life-changing moments. And, when you get an invite to something like this, where the title is 350 miles, I know I'm not doing all 350, and I'm not going to say that I'm just doing half, because that's such a pet peeve when other runners will say, oh, I'm just doing a 5K. I hear runners in my trail running group will say, oh, I'm only doing a 10K or something. No, not going to use that language. I'm excited for the opportunity to do the relay and to do, a considerable amount of miles. I think that a lot of those highs and a lot of those lows are going to be a part of this experience, and I'm excited about it. So that's kind of a snapshot of the why for me, and I think that it'll probably come out in the documentary as well, that many of the other runners have similar viewpoints on that as well. So that is kind of the why of what's going into the Mighty Gallatin. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I am going to give you a little preview of the next video. I'm going to share either later tonight or in the next day or so. I've been doing some trial and error with packs. So because this event is very long, because we're going to be out on the trails for long days, and there's a much larger required gear list, going with a bigger pack. So both Dina and I have been trying new packs. It's been a journey. We've tried several of them. It's been a little frustrating, but finally have landed on a pack. So along the way, I've been taking some video clips with the intent of compiling them into another vlog post, which hopefully will be helpful for anybody else who's looking for a bigger pack to adventure in. So that'll be the next video coming up. And hopefully I'm going to share some videos with Dina. As mentioned before, we're going to be out there doing this together. And so my travel plans, I'm actually going to travel out to Colorado, where she lives, before the trip, and then we're road tripping up to Montana together. And also want to mention, there's two other Sassquatters that are going out. Matt Klein is going to be completing the adventure solo. He's going to do all 350 on his own. And then Dougie Wilson is a Sassquatter. He's an ultra marathoner, and he's also crew extraordinaire. He has crewed Matt, I think, for all of his hundreds, and definitely all of the 200s. So he is going to be a part of that dream team roster of the traveling crew. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm excited to share the journey with you. It's going to be much shorter than Tahoe, but we'll share along the way, and then hopefully at the end, be able to share that documentary with you all, and as well as some personal clips that Dina and I and Matt and Dougie took along the way. So thank you for tuning in, and I'm excited to share with you as the next few weeks come along. All right, we'll catch you on the next update.